And we are live. Hello and welcome back to the channel, you beautiful people. I'm not gonna lie, I have an ungodly amount of caffeine flowing through my veins, and I've even been sipping on a little bit of an adult beverage. All right, to all you who know, if you know, you know. So I'm gonna be honest today. So this is going to be a bit of a longer video. I can already see from looking at my notes, and it's probably going to be a little bit more of a cynical video. But I like to be open and honest with my channel. I like to talk about things that are actually important to me or things I'm actually interested in. All right, so if you do like the content, please go ahead, give it a like, comment, subscribe if you like it. And before I go ahead and start the video on that topic or on that note, I want to give a very special thank you to my very first subscriber. All right. I'm not gonna lie, posting my first few videos and seeing like the stagnating views, it was a little bit discouraging for me, right? Because, you know, you get into this YouTube space, into this content creator space, and you want to do good, you want to grow your following really, really fast and stuff like that. And you forget that everyone's not the same, right? Like, you're not going to have the same growth as, say, like a Mr. Beast or, you know, Playback or, you know, any other YouTube content creators, right? You're going to have to put in a lot of work, and it may be a while before you really grow a solid following, a solid subscriber base, right? And, you know, it was a bit discouraging after dropping my first few videos last week, and I went back to my channel to, you know, look at the analytics and everything, and I saw that I had my very first subscriber, right? And I'm not gonna lie, that put a very big smile on my face. That gave me a lot more motivation to keep going, right? And it's kind of funny because a lot of people are, you know, excited when they get to their first, you know, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 subscribers, right? And I'm honestly just very appreciative and glad that I have one. All right. So yeah, it's weird. Like, it's a very small achievement, but it's very big to me, and I would love to keep building upon this so far, right? So I got 10 more months, one down, 29,999 to go. All right, my goal for the year is 30,000, so I'm gonna stick to it, and I'm motivated, right? So let's keep rolling. And without further ado, let's dive into the topic. All right, so this video was I was actually going to release a video somewhat similar to this a few weeks ago because of the Bank of America story that came out when Bank of America had they said they had some kind of glitch, and there was some kind of mistake or glitch happening in tons of Bank of America users' accounts when their accounts were showing up in the negatives, right? And this was very interesting, and based off of my knowledge of the banking system and incoming recessions and depressions and whatnot, I was very interested in the topic, and I was going to cover it. But before I really had a chance to really take a deep dive into it, it was said that a few days later it was resolved. So I kind of just scrapped it, right? But then I saw a video recently from my favorite news source, Redacted, on YouTube and on Rumble. All right, so you guys go ahead and check them out. They are my favorite news source. They're where I get all my news from. I don't watch that Fox or CNN bullshit anymore, right? I think it's all just propaganda. I think they all have agendas, and they don't tell us the truth. They don't tell us the things that we really should know, right? And I really support Redacted. I like those guys. They're amazing. They are an amazing team of independent journalists who don't have an agenda. They're not backed by big corporations or, you know, rich, wealthy billionaires. They are just a team of independent journalists who do what they believe is right and try to do whatever they can to spread the truth. All right, so go ahead and support those guys. Check their channel out on YouTube or Rumble. They did a video recently about how the banking system is collapsing, right? And when this banking system collapses, or when things start to go south, it is not going to be the global elites, the millionaires, the billionaires, the hedge funds or big corporations or anyone else like that who's going to take the hit. They are not going to bear any of the brunt of what's coming. It's going to be people like you and me. It's going to be your average everyday people, people like us, our friends, our family, small business owners who are struggling, just trying to make it, trying to do their best. Average everyday working people who are just trying to survive, who don't ask for much, who just want to live a decent life, get a good paycheck, go home, maybe drink a beer, and go on about their life. And even it's going to even reach down all the way into the people who are in poverty, right? The people who are struggling to make ends meet, the people who are making minimum wage and just struggling, right? Or even the people who aren't making any money, people who are jobless and homeless, right? That's the people who it's going to affect. It's going to affect people like you and me. It's not going to affect the uber wealthy. It's not going to affect Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. It's going to affect us. And that pisses me off. That doesn't piss me off as much as it used to, especially when I was first learning about these things when, say, like I was like 15, 16, 17 years old. But it still pisses me off a little bit. So over the past few months, Americans and many other people around the world, right? Not just Americans, but I am American, so this is my bias, right? This is my point of view. We've been noticing inflation, right? We've been noticing rising gas prices. Not too long ago, everyone was freaking out. Everyone was flipping their shit because gas prices got way too high. Gas prices, I think, were reaching as far as $7 in some states, like California. And it was inching close to $5 in the state where I live. And that's completely outrageous, right? We were noticing that now our money wasn't stretching as much as it used to, right? Like I remember I was able to go and fill up my tank of gas for about $20 during the pandemic. Now I'll be lucky if $20 lasts me a week and a half. And my car gets good mileage, right? And I'd be completely lucky if that lasts me even a week, honestly, at this point. Starting to notice shortages. There's now like an egg shortage. We have rising interest rates, and it's all of us, the average people, who are suffering now. Like everyone else, all the rich people, they're living lavish. Like they're fine. They're perfectly fine. They don't have to worry about a damn thing. I've been tuned into geopolitics and I knew that this was coming since the beginning of 2020, right? Like when we all started getting locked in our homes and I was watching a lot of YouTube and learning about how the system works and how money works and how all this works. Like I've known that this has been coming for a long time. You can't just print a whole bunch of money and give people money to spend and no one's working. The economy's not really moving like it should be. And you're just printing out money and giving it to people just to spend, right? It stimulated the economy for a little bit, but anyone who knows how markets work and how the economy works, we all knew that this shit was going to go downhill eventually, right? And now is the time. Now is going to be where we start reaping what we sowed during the beginning of the pandemic. And now the fact is that the American dollar, which is currently at least the world's reserve currency. But see, the thing is that when you have things like currency and money, it all comes down to like how much it's worth and the reason that prices go up and down and the reason that, say, maybe your dollar isn't as strong and how much money you have doesn't go as far as it did, say, back in 2020 is because of how much is available and how much is worth, right? So say, for example, I always use this example when I'm explaining money to people and the value of things. Imagine if there was 10,000 iPhones in existence, right? There was no other previous models. There was just one iPhone. Imagine how expensive that iPhone would be versus if there's 10 million or 10 billion iPhones in existence, right? Scarcity makes things more valuable, right? And it's not just also scarcity, but also like how much people value things as, right? Like say, for example, if people really didn't value an iPhone and there was only 10,000 in existence, well, it wouldn't really be that costly. It wouldn't really be that high in price because people don't value it. So those are the kind of things that determine the value of, say, like, just every just average everyday things, and especially when it comes to money. So within the year of 2020 alone, 35% of our money, at least the American dollar in circulation, was printed within that year alone. And see, what a lot of people understand is that that is a very, very big deal. Like in my iPhone example, if you had 10,000 iPhones in existence, and then all of a sudden in 1 year, you print out 3,500 iPhones, well, then the price is going to drop, right? The same thing with the dollar. If you have a certain amount of dollars in existence and then you just print a bunch and put it into the system, the price of that dollar, or at least the value of that dollar, drops. And see, the thing is at least with the American dollar, we used to base off the gold standard, meaning that this $1 equaled a certain amount of gold. I think it was, Nixon, not Reagan. I was about to say Reagan. Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard because of a whole bunch of bullshit, and I'm not going to go too much into that. He took the dollar off the gold standard, meaning that our dollar, the world's reserve currency, not just the American currency, but the world's reserve currency, is based off of absolutely nothing except debt. That's what it's based on. It's not based on gold. It's not based on silver, platinum, or anything else of volume. It's just based on debt. And at this point, when it's based on nothing, the Federal Reserve, which is the people who are in charge of the money and how much money is in circulation, they can print as much as they want. And when they print as much as they want and subsequently make our dollars worth less and make us struggle more because our dollars don't go as far as they used to, and things like, say, for instance, wages don't go up. See, the thing is that prices will go up, interest rates will go up, but wages won't go up. That means that people start to struggle. People start to suffer, except for the rich and uber wealthy, of course. And the fact of the matter is that the Federal Reserve prints an asinine amount of money, which is now one of the big reasons that the United States is in a huge hole of debt. And this overall, and the way that I started to learn about how the system worked, has drastically changed the way I felt about my country. I used to be somewhat of a patriot. I'm not going to lie. I used to kind of love America. And it's not like I hate America, but I don't see it the same way I used to. I just can't, because of how much I know now. And it's gotten to the point now to where that the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, right? Basically the people, or at least one of the agencies that are responsible for supply deposit insurance, right? So say, for instance, like with the banks, they are supposed to insure up to $200,000 worth of your money in the bank, right? So if you have like $1,000 in the bank, something happens to your money, it's insured, right? But anything over that, it's not insured. It's to the point to where the FDIC knows that economic collapse is coming, and they don't really have a plan to stop it. Or at least they have a plan, but it's really fucked up, right? And they don't have any type of concern or empathy for the average American people who are going to suffer. Basically, their plan is not telling average everyday people, because they think it's none of our business, because they think that we're too stupid, because they believe that it's going to cause public panic. Which, yeah, it probably is going to cause public panic, but I mean, what else do you expect? You kept putting this off, you kept printing more and more money, you kept doing all of these things, supporting proxy wars, and it now has fucked up the economy beyond all repair. And now, because of your fuck ups, because of your mistakes, and when I say your, I mean like the wealthy, the uber wealthy, and the rich, the corporations, the government. Now, because of your fuck ups, you don't even want to tell us, the average people, what's coming. You don't even want to tell us, to prepare us to say, hey, we fucked up, it's all our fault, but you're going to pay the price for it. You don't even want to tell us that. How fucked up? Like, that is just so messed up. That is beyond slimy. That is beyond evil. That is beyond just, oh man, that pisses me off. And basically their plan is to try to keep the rich invested. Their plan is to try to keep the rich in. But or at least to tell the rich about it so they can prepare, but not telling the average everyday people, because it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter if they tell us, we're basically lambs to the slaughter. We're sacrifices to them, and the rich are the only ones that matter. And now there's something called bail-ins, and I didn't even know what bail-ins were until I saw the redacted video. Basically, this is where instead of the government coming to the aid of banks and corporations to bail them out and give them money, now the bank is legally allowed to take money out of our accounts, out of the accounts of people, out of their customers, in order to pay off their debts. It's so fucked up because it is completely legal. This was made legal, I think, sometime after the housing crisis, sometime in 2013. And this has happened in multiple countries. Like, this has been a thing in other countries, about 11 other countries, and has happened in the past before. I don't know. I just think that this is something that needs more attention. And I think that people don't really understand the gravity and the depth of economics, like micro and macro, and how much all of this is going to affect all of us. People look at the shit that happens in Ukraine and they support giving Ukraine money, but they don't realize all those billions and billions of dollars that they're giving them, shit that we send them, that gets blown up, and all the money wasted is making all of our lives harder. And all of this ties in to this mess that's going to happen, to this whenever the markets start to crash, whenever the banks start to run out of money, whenever all this shit starts to go downhill. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, this is completely unpredictable. We're in like a new territory with this. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen now. I know it's going to be hard times, but I have absolutely no idea. This is unprecedented, really. I don't know. I just thought I should cover this because I believe that people should at least have the right to know, because the government and big corporations, they try to keep this shit covered, right? Which is why I love Redacted so much, because they bring all of this stuff to light. They bring all the stories that the media, that the corrupted media and government, that they won't cover, that they won't talk about. They bring all this stuff to light. So then when these things happen, you're not standing around there twiddling your thumbs wondering what the hell to do or like how this happened, right? At least you know. And I believe that we all at least deserve the right to know. I think this was kind of good. I think this was kind of therapy for me. At least it got some shit off my chest. I hope at least that this was an informative video for some people who at least want to understand why things are the way they are, or why things are happening the way they're happening. And when shit starts to go downhill in the next coming months, at least you're not surprised or caught off guard. And who knows, maybe you even have some time to prepare ahead of time, right? I have hope, or at least have faith, that we'll all be okay. We're all going to struggle and we're all going to have hard times ahead, but that doesn't mean that we should give up, right? Well, I think that's going to be all for this video. If you enjoyed my very, very lengthy video, we're at about 30 minutes right now. If you enjoyed my video, please like, comment, and subscribe, right? Even share with a friend if you believe that they would enjoy my content. And also look out for me on Rumble. Bear with me on my journey. I have 10 more months, roughly about 10 and a half more months. I'm supposed to be hitting 30,000 subscribers, so that's my goal for the year. All right, and I think that'll do it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and remember, always think for yourself, all right? Deuces.